Alright, first I'm gonna make sure the video works. What's YouTube doing? Does it need my stream key? Okay, there it is. Okay, so I have not done this for a while because things have happened since then, and one of those things were losing my old computer and getting a new one. Fortunately, my files are backed up. Since then, I have not done so much work on the design document, but I have been inspired to come up with what Warcraft 4 could look like. I'll just be going over this very briefly. Basically, I envisioned Warcraft 4 coming after WoW Classic Plus and being a real-time strategy game wherein you can play in both RTS or in either RTS or RPG mode. It will be a Dungeons and Dragons based game based on the 3rd edition with some modifications. All I've really found out so far is that there's going to be official servers for it. Players will be able to host their own servers with their own content on it. And I figured out what armor and weapons are going to look like. Let's scroll through it slowly so you can pause it at your convenience when you're replaying the stream after it's over. I have not defined everything about weapons yet, and I have not defined weights or base costs yet, except for the weights of Torn totems, and I think Torn Halberd. Oh wait, no, I got rid of Torn Halberds, that's right. Torn totems. That's the only way to find out of Torn totems. They weigh 50 pounds, and they're useful because even though they don't hit as hard as Mauls do, they're better at knocking enemies down. Knockdown is going to replace Trip from the standard reference document for the 3rd edition. Anyway, now onto the Classic Plus stuff. Anyway, I wrote down some changes to make on Monday, and for the rest of it, I'm just going to go over it proper. Go over the class sections proper. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do here, the Eyes of the Beast change has a typo. Where is it? Eyes of the Beast. To encourage hunters to pick a improved Eyes of the Beast, will also increase the damage dealt by your pet. By your pet. Okay, there it is. I also did not buy a license for Microsoft Office, so I just got OpenOffice instead. It ain't a war, but it works. Survival instincts will now grant you less agility. Oh yeah. Since the last version of the document, when I was making the last version of the document, I realized something. In order for classes to get invited to raids that serve the same role in the raid, it's not enough to make them deal roughly the same amount of damage. They would have to deal exactly the same amount of damage. So, it meant that I had to take a completely different approach to getting so many specs invited to raids. To getting quite a lot of specs invited to raids. This means that one melee spec will deal more damage than all of the other melee specs in the game, and one range spec will deal more damage than all the other range specs in the game, while all the other range specs and melee specs will offer unique utilities that get them invited to raids. Like how Arms Warriors provide the crit vulnerability for Mortal Strike. And Ret Paladins offer Vindication, which now reduces strength and agility again. Or at least it will after I change it. And by reducing agility, the boss's dodge chance goes down significantly, and the boss loses some armor as well. And crit chance, which lowers the defense cap. So anyway, on to the rest of the changes. Survival instincts, which is renamed Lightning Reflexes of extra functions, will grant you less agility because it no longer needs to grant you enough agility to make your damage be close to that of marksmanship hunters. That reminds me, I'll make an extra little document here. Okay, so. The hit buff will be removed from improved arcane missiles, because it doesn't need to be there anymore, because arcane mages no longer need to deal damage comparable to other mage specs. Because now, when they consume presence of mind of a fire spell, they grant a spell damage buff to a raid, and healing buff, or if they consume it with a frost spell instead, they grant a spell crit buff to the raid, and both buffs are rather short. And so are only going to be going to give the raid good uptime on it if they are arcane mages that are spamming arcane missiles. Anyway, I think I scrolled past what I wanted to change. No, I didn't. I didn't scroll past it, okay. Or if I have to work here. The threat reduction from Arcane Subsidy will be lowered from. Okay, yeah, it looks like that'll work. Get rid of that extra space there. Copy. Paste. Improved arcane missiles will no longer get this buff. Unbuffed, improved arcane missiles. The removal of the heroic strike and cleave offhand hit penalty is powered by tanks actually using a shield, I have to explain. In the document itself. Dual-wield warrior damage does not need to be lowered anymore, as long as it isn't ridiculously high. So, I can just delete this and say it is to make tanks actually use a shield, because it's also for that. Here it is. Here it is. Improved thunder. Oh, do remember now that warrior damage will not be ridiculous because gear is going to be much more tame than it was in Classic Not Plus, and so will world buffs. World buffs are massively nerfed. Now, moving on. Improved Thunderclap. I'm gonna buff Improved Thunderclap. I don't like it the way it looks right now. Improved Thunderclap. It'll still be a 2-point talent. Rage cost reduction will be the same. Damage duration will be increased by 15/30%, up from 10/20%. Yes, my keyboard's pretty loud. I like it that way. And its radius will be increased by 2 yards. Its radius by 1/2 yards. Its 1/2 yards. Its duration by 15/30%. And increases its damage by 15/30%, but will not be affected. This will make the talent be garbage. Hopefully. So it goes from 30 seconds to 39 seconds. Its damage goes up from 103 to 134. And its rage cost goes from 20 to 16. From 20 to 16. And its radius goes from, 8 yards up to 10 yards. Making it easier to do AoE damage for them raids. Shitty associates. And a temporary changelog document. Buffed, improved, thunderclap. The second point in defensive prowess is not supposed to be mandatory for raiding, which I forgot about when I was designing the talent. Defensive prowess is the replacement for improved shield block, which includes all the previous functions. It includes all the functions that improved shield block previously had. So, at 1 of 3, defensive prowess, which occupies the position of improved shield block that improved shield block had in Classic Not Plus, will enable shield. What's the wording in the actual talent? The wording action allows your shield block ability to block an additional attack. And doubles your block value. No. That makes it sound like it only happens when shield block is active. Doubles your block value and allows your shield block ability to block an additional attack. The block value increase is supposed to be passive, even when you're not using shield block. Even when shield block is not a buff on you. At all times, period. So long as you have the talent. It's not associated with shield block. Anyway, yes, the basics matter. The second point. What is the wording here? Increases the duration of... And increases the duration of shield block by 2 seconds and allows you to dodge attacks from behind. How about I just do this? And then at rank 3, you also get to block and parry attacks from behind. Wait. There, that's better. Now to improve shield block. A note, blocking an attack from behind will prevent it from dazing you, partial block or not, but unavoided attacks against you will be able to daze you as normal. And now I can get rid of that part. Because it's just there for, it was there for clarity, but now it doesn't need to be there for clarity. Wait a second. Okay, yeah, there's an ampersand there. That's why this is slightly in front of that one. Okay. Yeah, save. Rearranged. Redefined in defensive prowess to give its benefits at different ranks. To give the benefits it granted at different ranks than before. So anyway, the second point in defensive prowess is not supposed to be mandatory for raiding. 2-3 and 3-3 are both optional. You do not need them for raids. However, these are very important for PvP. Which... Wait. This is an essential PvP talent. That means it's... Ah, jeez, I forgot. Jeez, I haven't been looking into this document for too long. All talents in the game has to abide by these 5 rules. Number 1, it is not a talent that you would not want to have while someone else in your group has it, as opposed to when that is not the case. Number 2, if it is essential for PvP, it is also useful for raiding, or possibly essential for raiding. That means that 2-3 and 3-3 into improved shield block have to be useful for raiding. And being able to dodge, block, and parry attack from behind is of little use for raiding, as is increasing the duration of shield block by 2 seconds. So, I'm actually gonna... I'm gonna change this around again. Allows your shield... 1 to 3. Allows your shield block ability to block an additional attack and increases its duration by 2 seconds. Number 2. Copy, paste, and allows you to block, dodge, and parry attacks from behind. And then 3-3 does this, except it also doubles your block value. The doubling of your block value compensates for how no item in the game will increase your block value anymore. Will grant bonus block. It compensates for how no item in the game grants bonus block value as a stat anymore. Which does not really exist at low levels, by the way. So that makes leveling be more fun for Prot Warriors. Anyway. And doubles your block value. That's better. Doubles your block value. And 3-3 allows you to block, dodge, and parry attack from behind, doubles your block value, and allows your shield block ability to block an additional attack, and increases duration by 2 seconds. That's better. Okay. Copy. Paste. Save. Okay, next up. Remove the label of questionable from the one-hand warrior spec buff. I'm pretty certain about that buff now. Remove the label of questionable from the one-hand spec warrior buff. Vindication will once again reduce strength and agility by 5/10/15% to a maximum of 1/3 of character level / 2/3 of character level / character level. And its strength / agil reduction will never reduce, will be capped at CL/3 at x at y/2y/3y, whereas y equals character level/3. And it'll work on all creatures. This'll serve to get ret paladins a ret paladin invited to raids. Now that, wait a second. I forgot how long the duration on Vindication is. Here it is. 10 seconds. 3 procs per minute means you need 2 ret paladins. Oh, okay, 2 ret paladins, sure. Wait, no. 2x. No. Wait, 1/3 was previous promptions. What was the spirit? Oh, wait. Huh, okay. I forgot what his previous proc chance was. You know, I'm just going to leave it like that and assume that I'll have 100% uptime for 1 ret paladin. No, actually, I'm going to look this shit up. Fine. I'll look in the comments section. And there's nothing there. Didn't think so. Check the Paladin Discord then. Announcements. Alright, what the hell am I doing? Is there even not TBC stuff here? Oh, looks like TBC stuff. Has a classic/TBC section. They probably won't find what I want to know here. You know what, fuck it. I'm just going to assume it's the shit I want. I'm just going to trust my previous judgment and assume that 1 ret paladin will be enough to keep it up. Anyways, Vindication. Yes, causing a ret paladin to get involved. Yes, now that agility reduction actually means something in raids. Reducing an NPC's agility actually means something in raids. Currently, agility works for all NPCs as such. +2 armor per agility, plus 1/55% of a critical strike chance and dodge chance per agility at level 60, and +2 range attack power per agility. At levels below 60, the dodge and crit chance increases are higher, and at level 63, it's slightly lower. So yes, Vindication does this now. No, I shouldn't just be going off my previous judgment. I want to go fucking right. Oh, here. You cannot find an exact number on how much proc chance it's supposed to have. This looks like Wrath of the Lich King. Wait. Fine, I'll go to fucking Reddit. Shut up. It doesn't say anything about the proc chance. Maybe it says it here somewhere. History. 2006, that should work. Fine, how about 2009? Doesn't say here either. You know, I'm just going to manually redefine this proc per minute. So let me see here. 10 seconds. That means I want to have 150% uptime, giving good RNG. So I'll give it a 3/6/9 proc per minute proc chance. With 9 procs per minute and 10 seconds of uptime per proc, that means 90 seconds giving the best possible RNG per minute of uptime, which means that in practice it'll probably have 100% up, nearly 100% uptime. Change these Y's to X's. I spent way too long on that. Shouldn't be anything in chat, didn't think so. I don't have enough exposure for that. So anyway, now I'm going to do a closer revision of the class sections. Excuse me. So anyway. Yeah, it seems fine. I'll just let that draft be a rough draft. It's only, this is not gameplay affecting stuff. All it does is make it easier on new players. By basically being an extended tutorial. Well, not quite, but it's just advice. Anyway. Now, is this all spelled right and such? Now this here is not an actual change, it's just here for clarity. That what I just went over was the target cap, the AoE target cap. And instead of doing it like in the Burning Crusade, where you just deal less damage to everything that's in your radius if there's more than however many targets, you simply cannot affect more than however many targets per spellcast or tick. depending on the spell. Like Thunderclaps, only affecting 4 targets per use, and Whirlwinds, only affecting 4 targets per use, and War Stomps, only affecting 5 targets per use. No matter how many enemies are in area of effect, so long as there's 4 or 5 or more. So yeah, that's going to get rid of boosting for good. Well, be part of it, rather. It's going to be part of getting rid of boosting and mage farming for good. Well, not mage farming, but instance mage farming. And it's not going to get rid of it, it's just going to make it a lot less profitable. Hold on here, let me think back. Fuck, I haven't been thinking about this design document enough lately. I'm slipping up. So, instance mage farming is going to be nerfed because Improved Blizzard got nerfed. All mage spells have a target cap of 6 targets per tick or spell cast, whichever is applicable. And all NPCs can now run up 90 and 180 degree slopes with impunity if it was the fastest path to reach you. But they cannot run upon thin air. They can only do that when they're evading. And on a related note, how much experience you get when you're in a group now only depends, now depends upon the highest level player in the group compared to your level, as opposed to the average level of everyone else in the group, as opposed to the average level of all the group members. So if a level 60 guy kills a level 40 guy, and you're level 30, you won't get any experience in that group. Anyway, yeah, this change looks fine. Now that I put this thing here for clarity. Hold on, it's not turns. Yeah, it looks fine. Spells are level 20 no longer very spell natural skill coefficient to be lowered according to how much lower level they are in 20 due to the below change. All spells will no longer be able to have each individual chosen energy healing value if there's be any more than double by both spells and energy healing effects. Without the dare part. As such, or without the second dare. As such, because both spells deal a variable amount of base damage or have a variable amount of base healing, each spell will have a soft spell to natural healing cap. At each point, the spell's minimum base stats are getting the most can have spell damage to healing, and a hard spell damage to healing cap, at which point the spell maximum base stats are also getting the most can have spell damage to healing. These limitations apply to spell damage to healing field fields and not before them. They do not account to increase projections of spell damage potential, also increase the spell scale. Will also increase scaling and scaling cap. Yeah, I can't talk fast good enough. This change is made because it feels much better than spell damage and heal bonuses just being the trial below level 20, especially since spell damage is healing works does many low level non-suffix items, and adds quite a bit more depth to the game, especially when you use some then the temporarily grants a bonus plus healing, and also under feels quite a bit of raid, so I haven't got right to calculate heal the mech, except to raise it. Even though I have not I'm not supposed to be honest, no heals could probably get toned down a notch anyway. Looks fine. Spell accidentally correctly. Oh, by the way, when I was using my old computer, Microsoft Word would not use spell check on the document because it was too big. But Apache OpenOffice will use spell check on the entire document, even though it is as large as it is. Anyway. Accidentally, where is that? Right above here. At 2C's accident alley. That's better. Oh, it's supposed to be here. I mean, there's supposed to be an error key there, yeah. Yes, these are not part of the same change. They are separate changes. Excuse me. These are not part of the same change. They are separate changes. Anyway. Yeah, I don't really have to put that in changes log. Wait. Yeah, I don't really have to put that in changes log. All non-instant projectile spells except for range shot. Non-enchanted, of course. What were you saying? Like range swings? Oh, I should actually read this stuff. Yes, it is a real word. It's just not in the dictionary. For just sake. And it is multiplicatively as opposed to additively. Final struggle. Final struggle is a new human racial. It's like every band for himself, except you can only use it when you're in execute range, and it only works on some debuffs and not others. Some very important debuffs, and not all debuffs. Missing an E from benefit, and missing an apostrophe mark from your. Yeah, don't bring Fury Prot Warriors to raids anymore. That's not a real spec anymore. There's this. Arms, 2-end Fury, dual-end Fury, and Deep Prot. Those are the only specs left for Warriors. No more Fury Prot. You could also make some weird PvP spec if you want, but don't expect to be to get a rating. Weird and indeterminate PvP spec. Anyway. When I wrote this, I was under the assumption that Vindication still reduced strength and agility up to a cap, which is now correct. I might have to buff Rest of the Druids in raids to give raid leaders a reason to bring Rest of the Druids at all. Over Holy Priests. But I don't know this yet. Said debuff from critical mass a fire mages get is applied like improved hemorrhage, if you're familiar with that, which you probably aren't. I'm not going to bother to explain it right now. Yeah, the rest of this looks fine. Okay, on to Hunters again. Thematic with Finesse again. I already actually looked over hunters earlier this week, so I'm just going to look over the spelling. Maelstrom, Maelstrom. I plan to spend hours doing this today. This design document stuff. There. No, formatting is better there. Not supposed to be an S there. Let me see here now. This looks fine. Now I don't have to actually make any class changes to hunter pets to update and to keep them up to date with the current design philosophies that I explained earlier about every spec needing a utility reason to get invited to raids or highest damage reason. For some other essential reason. Yeah, or some other essential reason. Tame able. Not tamble. Tame able. Where is it? That's better. Wowhead says you need level 4 to learn that ability, but... And yes, that's Wowhead Classic, not TBC Classic, but regular Classic. Oh. Cancel as 1L. Okay. Forgot to say, in Zone Builder, I have to use a different thing to find and replace. Replace all. Good. Those typos have been fixed. Save. Save. Oh, it already. Or didn't already see. Whatever. This is pretty far down. No, I really don't want to do this right now. I want to be doing our stuff. It isn't so tedious and boring to me. But if I want this design document to be good, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Yes, mana worms eat mana. Having proper spelling and grammar, aside from it not capitalizing stuff and not using punctuation all the time, which I do on purpose, is part of making this design document be good. A very small part of it, but still a part of it. Alright, fuck it. I'm just gonna, instead of going over punctuation and shit like that, I already looked over mages and warriors, so I'm just gonna look over the actual changes. Okay, so, yeah, this looks fine, this looks fine, this looks fine, this looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. Excuse me. Oops. Oh. Forgot to turn the microphone off there. Yeah, so this looks fine, this looks fine. This This looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. This, I'm not quite sure if this looks fine. Now, assassination, combat, and salty rogues. Excuse me. Assassination dagger, assassination non-dagger, combat dagger, combat non-dagger, and salty rogues no longer need to deal the same amount of damage because they provide 5 separate debuffs that are important for raids. Causing you to bring 1 of each spec to every 40-man raid. So this here is no longer the a good justification. It also serves to help to make sure that rogues aren't overpowered in PvP. This will go towards making this is here for PvP balance. And they did get massively buffed. Oh, I forgot to get rid of this. That was an outdated change, which contradicts something else that's not outdated. Anyway. Yes, I know it. Reducing the defense skill by 5 means it means increasing everybody's weapon skill by 5 against that enemy, effectively. Which means you need less hit, which means you need 3% less hit chance and get less, no, you don't get less glancing blows, you get just as many glancing blows, but you don't. But the glancing blows get less of a damage penalty, far less of a damage penalty, but they still get a damage penalty until, 8 weapon skill? Until, 380 effective weapon skill? Anyway, yeah. This means weapon specialization ratios are still good, but not as good. And again, weapon specialization ratios are supposed to compare to Blood Fury, Berserking, the ratios, and having a legendary weapon instead of an epic weapon of the same item level. Races that... Anyway, I don't feel like explaining further. Seal Fate will also have your backstab, etc. Vigor is now actually a good talent. And by the way, reducing defense skill by 5 in PvP basically means the enemy has 1% less avoidance, or just 0.6% if they can't parry or block. Or 0.8% if they can parry, but not block. Or block, but not parry. Anyway. That looks fine. I'm not even going over wording right now. I'm too lazy to go over wording. I'm just going over the actual changes, making sure they're all up to date. I'll go over the spell check too. I'll look at spelling too, but not the wording. Not the semantics, that is. I'm pretty sure I didn't buff Shadow Priest damage. For its own sake, that is. But I'll see. Should be reviewing this stuff every once in a while anyway. Hell, I barely thought about the design document this week. Most of my thought was spent on thinking about Warcraft 4. Yes, it's a High Elf racial. Straight from the Burning Crusade. High Elf Priest racial. High Elves are an alliance race. Fucking. Replace all. Search key replaced 58 times. Now, what was I looking for? Brigands. Replace all. Now then. Yeah, so star shards might actually not be garbage in PvP anymore. Niche situations aside. Not in chat. For some reason or the other, my USB external hard drive is only so fast. It's probably because it's a USB hard drive. But, whatever. It's got a lot of stuff on it, though. A lot of stuff I'd rather not put on a solid state drive, so it works for longer. My 1 terabyte solid state drive, but still. I want to keep this computer for a long time. So anyway, the actual changes. Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine. Brazil. Oh yeah, Brazil. Ooh, Brazil. Yes. Okay, okay. resilience. Resilience. Replace all. Oh, only replace it once. Okay, good. That means it's only that one. Good. So anyway, that's when the talent changes. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. Improve shackling. That looks fine. That looks fine. And this will prevent you from stacking disc freeze to keep your paladin or shaman tank to keep power infusion on your paladin or shaman tank for the whole raid. For a whole raid boss fight. So that your damage dealers can hit harder. Anyway. Hold on here. Resistible. Okay, okay. Oops. Replace all. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. Buffing Holy Priest damage is not a bad idea, really. Provided that you take the talents for it. You know what? No longer does grant hit chance. Like that. They don't need that PvP buff. Don't need it. They're probably going to get spell hit for PvP anyway, actually, so that they can land their shadow spells. So, yeah, fuck that shit. Basically, the only reason you would bring a Holy Damage Priest to the raid is because they can seamlessly switch to being a healer without even having to cast a spell beforehand. You need to suddenly stop casting Smite and start casting Greater Heal or some shit. More likely Flash Heal. They don't have to exit Moonkin form first. They don't have to exit Shadow form first. Nothing like that. Let us immediately start healing. And our gear is still very serviceable for healing. Though not quite as... I mean, it's still serviceable for healing, though not quite as good as proper healing gear. If there's any one spec that's going to be neglected in this Classic Plus, it'll be Holy Damage Priests. Hold on, I'm going to review something here. Hold on here. Something wrong with my ear.
Something that a Q-tip is fixing. Feels good.
Okay. So, yes. How hard would it be, I wonder, to just make Holy Damage Priest have some sort of debuff when they hit stuff with Smite or Holy Fire? Instead of doing this later, I could do this now. So, let me think here. What kind of debuff could Holy Fire provide while it's up with talents? Somebody might see damage talents in the Holy Talent Tree and in the Discipline Talent Tree and want to deal damage as either of those specs. You know what? just like Wrestler Shamans have Title Mastery, which also increases the crit chance of Lightning Bolt, and a talent that increases your spell hit and melee hit chance, which has nothing to do with healing. Holy Priest, that's something that increases their damage. They don't have to be a proper damage spec. Okay, back to priests.
Oh, jeez. Want to go over to spelling too, so I'm going to scroll back down.
Because once again, spell check actually works on this thing. This thing makes Shadow Priests actually half mana when they're leveling. Just like Spirit Tap did before, but now this works differently. And this is most of what gives them that mana. Did I make Sleight of Hand not nerf Saint? Sleight of Hand increases the threat reduction of feint. Oh, okay, it doesn't. It doesn't nerf. Okay, I thought I just. I thought Sleight of Hand reduced the threat generated by rogue for some reason, but yeah, never mind. Anyway. Just acts like I didn't say that stuff, but that's just stuff. No actual problems with this design and talking about were discovered. Yes, because it'll help to alleviate gearing problems. Okay. Darkness does not need to be buffed to compensate for the shadow focus. Excuse me, nerf. Their damage and rates is not that much concern, and it could stand to be nerfed in PvP anyway. Well, actually, reducing your spell hit to plus 5% instead of plus 10% from talents wouldn't nerf in PvP at all. It'd be nothing. Oh, wait, no, that's right. It would nerf in PvP just a little bit because I forgot excess spell hit goes into resistance penetration for whichever excess spell hit goes into resist all penetration. So yeah, it would be a minor PvP nerf. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat a wording for Shadow Folks. Okay. overflows into resistance penetration. Resistance penetration 40 specified elements. In this case, it only grants shadow spell hit, so excess shadow spell hit only grants shadow resistance penetration. It really could be your assault penetration since it'd still only be affecting shadow. I don't want to explain why. Anyway. Warlocks. What do we need to do with warlocks? Conjurer or conjurer? Invisibility. Invisibility. Okay. Replace all. That's strange. Four times. Okay, good. Yeah, it seems fine. Quintuple, that is multiplied by 5. Yes, it is very high damage. But it has to compete with Shadow Bolt when you're spec'd into it. But it has to compete with... Yeah, it has to compete with Shadow Bolt when you're spec'd into it. So the Affliction Warlock spam Drain Soul instead of Shadow Bolt. Nightfall procs aside. Repeated Nightfall procs aside. Yeah, some carrying problems, etc. Again, I might nerf improve here. I don't know yet. It has to be worth getting, though. It has to at least be good enough to be worth getting.
This here is a somewhat arbitrary number, so you know. Yeah, this all looks fine. Just changing how it stacks, base or some shit. Hold on there. Chance based on talent level upon critically striking to take more shot damage. Instead of upon critically striking, take more shot damage from the talent level. Yeah. So it just changes how it stacks. It makes it so that you don't have to max out the talent. Excuse me. It makes it so that people who don't max out the talent do not interfere with these stacks of other people who have maxed out the talent. And so and whatnot. I still don't know what to name this talent. It's called conflagrate or conflagration. Conflagrate. Conflagrate. No, conflagrates. Conflagrates. Alright, conflag A rate. Good. That's all the spelling. Fixed. I feel like I'm missing a typo somewhere. Oh. Yeah, this serves an extra purpose. It makes them get conflagrate over demonic sacrifice raids. A different purpose than just increasing your damage output. Okay, shamans. Only 3 classes to go. Ace all 2 with an extra A. Background noise. I'm gonna read this stuff again. I don't want to use my brain right now. the casting of lightning shield as opposed to the proccing of lightning shield has a cooldown. I mean, of course, it cooldown now. The proccing of lightning shield still has a 2.5-second internal cooldown, which is ignored while lightning infusion is active. Just thought. Never mind. It's a spell that actually deals physical damage. It's a spell that actually deals, but it can't crit. Instead, it triggers off of critical strikes of offensive spell critical strikes. Does say offensive spell. Alright, this thing's fine. It's hard to make myself use my brain when I don't want to use it. Not in the chat, of course. Yes, including daggers. There are no dagger-specific abilities that shamans get, therefore there's no reason to make dagger speed normalized around 1.7 instead of 2.4 speed for that ability. Or your shaman ability that has a reason to get normalized, which there are none. Storm Strike debuff not only reduce the enemy's nature resistance, but character level times 3 for 24 seconds. Always applies to Storm Strike deals damage. And it'll also buff the caster to grant 2 charges of a buff that causes the caster to deal 20% more nature damage for 12 seconds. The charges are expended solely with Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Earth Shock, and Wind Shock, and Chain Lightning will consume 1 charge, which will increase the damage up by all of its hits. This will prevent non-restless shamans from being useless in the Emerald Dream. Nightmare. And the part about preventing throw charges from getting. And it'll cause the damage bonus to not get consumed by stuff like rogue poisons or lightning bolt. Damage bonus to typically only get consumed by earth shot. To not get consumed by your other people's nature damage or your lightning shield. There, that's worded better now. It's about to be the Emerald Nightmare. They're called Nightmare Dragons. Excuse me, they're called Dragons of Nightmare. They come for the nightmare, not the dream. Yeah, that part of the plane of existence. However, anyway. There's not many racial changes. Anyway, on to Paladins. 2 classes left. Tiny bit more concise now. Good. Now it's more concise. That takes up that many less bytes. And it's spelled correct. And it's spelled better. The better spelling throughout the document. itsy invulnerability. I'm pretty sure I did not buff Red Paladin damage for its own sake. I mean, to help in raids. When I buffed their damage, I did it for a different reason. Oh, except the Crusader Strike. Well, actually, that makes is part of making people like the red spec. Anyway, one class left, Druids. Yeah, that's about right. Natural. N-A-T-U-R-E. N-A-T-U-R-A-L. Okay. I wish YouTube didn't remove the discussion tab. I could still have my changelog. I mean, I could still have my extended changelog up there with the commentary and stuff and whatnot. But at least I don't have to write that commentary anymore. I didn't like doing that. They did replace it with something else, but you only get that something else so you have at least 1,000 subs. Which I don't have. One last thing to check before I finish this stream. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, save and save. Now I finish the stream. I'm done looking over this stuff. Fuck, I don't want to spend all day doing this. Alright, see you soon.